1,000 ships, a decade of war, a mountain of bodies. A city turned to ash. The Trojan War is the cornerstone of Western literature, a brutal epic all launched for the love of one woman, Helen of Sparta, Helen of Troy, the most beautiful woman in the world. Her face, they say, launched 1,000 ships, but this phrase robs her of something. It makes her a passive object, a prize to be won, stolen, and reclaimed. It assumes her story could only happen one way. But what if the greatest story of the ancient world all hinged on a single word? A word that, in our version of the tale, was never spoken, the word no. Let's set the scene. The divine promise has already been made. Paris, the handsome prince of Troy, has been promised the most beautiful woman in the world by Aphrodite herself. He arrives in Sparta as a guest of King Menelaus, and there he sees her. Helen, in the traditional tale, she is swept away. She abandons her home, her husband, her child, and flees with Paris to Troy. Her abduction is the spark that ignites the world. An old oath is invoked. The 1,000 ships sail. Destiny unfolds. But we are here to stop destiny in its tracks. We are going back to that quiet moment in the Spartan palace. Paris has made his offer. The air is thick with divine magic and mortal desire. Everyone is waiting for her to say yes, but this time, we will give her a different choice. Before she speaks, understand the pressure. To refuse Paris is to refuse the goddess Aphrodite, an act of defiance against a fundamental force of the universe. That is the divine pressure. Then there is her life in Sparta. She was a political prize. Married to Menelaus not for love, but for alliance. A queen, yes, but perhaps in a gilded cage. Paris offers a grand romance, an escape. The choice is this: defy a goddess and remain a dutiful, perhaps empty queen. Or betray your family, your kingdom, your honor. For a chance at personal freedom, she looks at Paris. She feels the power of Aphrodite compelling her to agree. She weighs the world. And she speaks the word that changes everything and nothing at all. She says no. Imagine the silence. The shock. Paris, the proud prince, has been rejected, humiliated. He sails back to Troy empty-handed. The war has been averted. Hasn't it? A goddess scorned does not forget. Aphrodite cannot force Helen to leave, but she can make her regret staying. Perhaps she curses her marriage, turning Menelaus' heart cold, ensuring every day is one of quiet misery. Helen saved the world but damned herself. And the war, the cause was always ambition. Agamemnon's greed for Troy's wealth. The war might have happened anyway. Fought over some other pretext, but Helen would be a footnote. A forgotten detail. Cities stand that would have fallen. Families are whole that would have been shattered. She's the silent, unsung savior of a world that will never know her sacrifice. And yet she's trapped. Cursed to live a life devoid of the very love Aphrodite represents. So this is the true dilemma, was it right? To choose personal, unending misery to prevent a global catastrophe? To say yes would have been selfish, but an act of personal freedom. An assertion that her life, her happiness mattered. To say no was a selfless act of immense moral courage. But it was also an act of self-destruction. What is the greater duty? To the countless strangers you will never meet? Or to the single, precious life you have been given? If you were Helen, faced with a god's promise and the world's fate, what would you have done?